Based on the response code, we would understand the application is the server is responding back, giving me an information, or it is giving me a successful error, it is giving me a redirection or what. So anytime you see in the server's response a 100 series, it is the information that the server is trying to give you. When right now we saw the facebook.com where we have seen 200 OK, it means that the server is having the page that we are trying to request for. Then only you will see 200 OK. Whenever you access any other page which is not there on server, you will see 404. So like this, the code, that the number, whatever we see in the response, usually tries to help us understand, give an idea on what the server is trying to communicate to the client. The page is available, or the page is available somewhere else, not with me. That time you see a 300 series where it is a redirection happening. Sometimes we see client errors, sometimes we see 500 errors. So in this way, based on the code, the attackers will try to understand the behavior of the server. When the server is trying to show 300 series, no, people understand that, okay, there is a redirection happening. It means there are multiple servers where the redirections are happening. And so I need to craft my attack to understand or bypass certain things. Like this, people try to understand. And 500 sequence errors are a little bit much more interesting because we get to know certain errors related to the programming. Through that also they try to debug and perform different attacks. So like this, status codes help the attackers to understand what is the server is being, how the server is being planned on. Like this is a glimpse of the header which we just now saw from a browser's plugin. So when you request for any website, you send a request header and followed by so many headers, and then they get a response where you can see like this. The first line talks about the response line, first line, response header line, and followed by the version C, you can see server Apache. Sometimes you also see Apache followed by versioning and all these things. So in this way, from the response header, we get lot of information. If the server is not properly configured, we also get to know what version of plugins they are using, which version of PHP are they using, which version of .NET they are using. All of this information also people can understand from these headers. So this is the first place for any attacker to understand what technology a website is using, which version of web server are they using, which version of programming language are they using. All of this information one can easily guess from these headers. Now you must be thinking, what would they do by getting these headers? See, once the header, if I know that, okay, so and so website is using IIS web server. For an attacker, he will try to look for different attacks that are possible on IIS, and he will land up by performing a successful attack, maybe a longer time, 6 months to 8 months it may take. But if I know directly through these headers that he is using IIS 6.0, so for an attacker, it is now very easier. He can directly check which all attacks or IIS 6 is vulnerable to, what are the different vulnerabilities. He can directly try those attacks on the system. So the attack duration is getting reduced when much information is getting disclosed over here. So unfortunately, my VM is not running. I'll fix up after the tea break. So at that time, I'll try to show you if the server is not configured properly, we get a lot of information related to the programming language, the web server, and so on. So this is the first place from where information leaks out. So moving towards, just based on that previous slide, a small question over here for you all. Sensitive information about a server can be visible in what? Is it request header, response header, 300 series and 400 series errors, or all of the above? You can just put up your answers in the chat box in a 2 minutes time. Okay, great. Many of you are answering. So the answer is the response header. We are asking the question is about a server. When we say about a server, so server information is known to us only in the response, not in the request. So answer all of the above would be correct only if sensitive information is known at which part. Then it can be all. So I can know about client also, about server also in request and response headers. But if the question is only about server, so answer B is correct. Thank you very much. So moving towards our next topic. So the same information what I have just now showed you was the through browser debugger I am able to see. Similarly, the same information we can also see through the proxy tools. We can also see through the network capturing, that is the Wireshark. Maybe in the last previous sessions, you might have already seen the Wireshark packet capturing. And browser debugger, I have just now shown to you. This is how the browser debugger is. You open up your Firefox browser, press F12 key, your debugger will be on. Then you try to access any website. Automatically, your network tab that is visible on the debugger will try to show you all the requests that are going to a site. Along with that, you can see a detailed request and response floating around, wherein you can try to understand every information about a given website if they are been not configured properly. If they are well configured, then we won't know any information. Most of the time, we won't know even which web server or which OS they are hosting. Sometimes people also try to configure intelligently. Once it may revert Apache, sometime at the reverse, it may revert IIS web server. Like this, the name of the web server varies. So that is one type of technique wherein they try to reveal different information to different people, so that the attack vectors people may try different things, but not the right one. By that, we are trying to increase the time of attack. So by that time, the attack is successful. Whatever defenses we have put already, IDS kind of things, they try to detect that, okay, somebody is trying to understand what web server is mine. And so they try to make their IDS or IPS stronger enough in terms of blocking web server based attacks. Like this, one can actually do a better planning. So the same information we can also see through the proxies. In just 5 minutes time, I'll just explain you about the proxy also. Yeah, so let me see. So if I want to show my proxy, what I can do is same. I'll just we have many open source proxy tools. As of now, I am trying to show you the Burpsuite proxy. I'll just divide my screen into two, where in the right, I'm enabling my proxy window. And in the left part, I'm just putting up my website. I just disabled the file debugger. So you can see in the left side, this is my website. Let us pick up an easier website. Maybe, right, cdac.in itself, I will show you. So in the left window, you can see that my website is running, and the right side, I'm trying to show you a proxy. So this is just for you to understand how a developer can understand what kind of request response goes, and if you are a tester, how you can do. So there is a proxy. This is a Burpsuite proxy. It's a Java-based app tool. You can just install and execute it. Once you execute, you'd see in the top third tab, you'll have a proxy. Over here, just go to options. You can just enable your proxy settings. It is on port 8080 and running on loopback. It means my system's 127.0.0.1 port 8080 is running on this proxy. So what I would do, I would just come to my browser and tell my browser to listen on that proxy. Options. Naresh, in case I need to give a break, please let me know, because I understand, I think people are there on this session for longer time. So yeah, I have set my proxy on my browser. The moment we turn on the proxy and I start accessing any website, what happens? You see here, as soon as I typed in cdac.in, because if you have noticed in my browser, I went to my browser settings and gave the proxy IP as 127.0.0.1.80.80. So my browser is now communicating to internet via the proxy tool. So anything that access on the browser, it definitely comes to my proxy. Now this is the place where I was trying to refer to, is in verifying the network applications packets through the proxy. Whatever we were seeing with the Firebug debugger here, I'm trying to show you the same on the proxy. Now we have initiated a request. If you notice in my browser, this in the top, the page is still running. You can see that circular processor is still going on. It means the browser is still waiting for the server's response. Server did not respond because my request have not reached the server yet. I'm still kept it hold in my proxy over here. See, get/http 1.1. I'm sending a request to cdac.io. The moment I click on forward, I would just enable response also. Click on forward, this request is reached at the server. Now, server should respond back to me with the page content basically. So this is the response. So server have given a response 200. Okay. So I have requested for a slash, that is the home page. Server has the page. So it gave me 200. Okay. Yes, I have the page that you're looking for. And it is giving me some information about the server also. Access product, these are the headers. And then this is the page source. This is nothing HTML code that you are seeing on the browser. The moment I click forward, see, till I click forward, the browser is still waiting because my proxy tool has kept hold the response that is coming from server also. The moment I click forward here, then each and every page, every request that the browser needs, it gets loaded over here. Then the complete page gets loaded. Now, when this kind of a request or response is happening, anybody, when they perform testing and all, they try to do tamperings, like they try to perform testing attacks or null by inserting some values over here, and then they forward so that the pages respond differently and behave differently. That's how the request and response can be visible on the in between proxy tools. We need to just enable the proxy tool, configure the browser to listen to that proxy, and from then on we can just start communicating to the applications via the proxy. So that is how the web proxies can actually intercept the request and show you.